How comfortable are you from, mentally and playbook, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Cheese Bowl, I felt really good there. With that, we kind of simplified the defense a little bit with Wes coming in and just kind of putting his own spin on it. But right now, I feel the best I felt since I've been here, which I should since it's my 4th year. But definitely feel like obviously there's always room to grow, but I'm feeling really good about the playbook and just being able to run it out there and help people who are kind of lost out there as well.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference, would you say, under Wes?
I think that, obviously Coach V was a very intense person, the way he coached and taught and everything, and I think for some people, they can understand it more. Coach V talked a lot of football terms, and if you didn't understand it, sometimes it might have taken you a little longer to understand what he's trying to say. Wes kind of simplifies the way he talks and explains things, so I think the young guys may have a better opportunity to learn a little bit faster. It wasn't until my 3rd year where I could really, in the meetings, fluently understand exactly what Coach V wants, and when you understand him, you realize how smart he is with everything he does. But Wes coaches a little bit, and his speaking terms and the way he communicates with you is a little different. So, not a huge difference, but just a little bit more simplified.
A lot of people have said that. Even since the spring, talked about it being simple. Is it just like more layman's terms? Is how Wes is talking?
Yeah, just more. It's almost more scientific. Wes is a very analytical person. So in the playbook, he explains it a lot as numbers and things like that. And I think it's easier when you don't understand all the terms to look at it as like a map or a puzzle almost and kind of fill it in. So I wouldn't say the defense is that more simplified. Just the way he explains it and explains it to you and shows you it on the paper may be a little different, so you can kind of visualize it a little bit more, then go out there and understand what you're doing.
What do you feel like your strengths are, and maybe what do you feel like you need to still do if you're going to put yourself in the best position to win that job?
I think strength. I think I've been a pretty good leader on this team. Apart from physical, I think I got the size and everything, but everyone's big and fast here, so that's not really a big part of it. I just think that going out there every day and competing with myself, I think that if I do the best I can, I think I'll put myself in a good position to be there. And just going out there every day with a expectation of what to do, what to expect when I'm out there in the field, and competing with myself. If I do that, I think that'll give me the best shot to go out there and win the job.
How do you feel about where your coverage is? Backs, tight ends.
Pretty good. We've been doing a lot of zone. We're putting in some man. At the Mike, there's a lot less man-to-man coverage than I did at Will. But through the summer, we all did a good job, and we got great backs. They give us great work. Some of the backs we practices against, you won't really have better route running backs than them with Shipley and Maffa and Pace. So and even our tight ends. We're really, the work we get with them is really good. And sometimes if you lose, you're like, hey man, that's about as good as a route in the ball you can get from DJ and all the other quarterbacks. So we're working on that. That's an ever-growing battle, I think, with defenders. You can never be good enough at coverage. So I think we got a good covering back linebackers, and I think I do pretty well myself.
Are there any of the newcomers, freshmen, that have impressed you on either side of the ball?
Yeah, we got a lot of good freshmen. Specifically our linebackers, they're good, they're tough, they're fast. They're picking up on it pretty quick, which is good. And they're not afraid to go out there and compete, which you love. A lot of times, sometimes freshmen come in and tiptoe around, but they've been out there. They've been giving their best effort, and that's all you can ask from those guys. And, really, the whole freshman class has been great so far. Looks good for the future.
What's been your impressions of TJ, that linebacker?
He's good. He's a physical kid. He's got a lot of high energy, which is great. What you want. Obviously, he's learning. He's competing. And with himself to get better a lot. He knows there's a lot of old guys ahead of him, but he goes out there every day like he's trying to win the job as too, which is what you want. And he's great. He brings a lot of energy to the room, and he's gonna be a really good player.
Is he at Mike or Will?
I think he's running Will.
Okay.
Honestly, when we go over it in the film, we're really talking as a whole.
Okay.
And whatever the script says, if he's like, hey, go play Will, we'll run out there and play Will, which helps the defense really can, or as a linebacker core at least, you can just work off each other and both positions. So.
With all the transition there is at the linebacker role, what's the competition been like overall these first 3 days?
Yeah, it's been very competitive. I was competitive every practice, and I think everyone's really trying to be the best version of themselves right now in practice, as opposed to, shoot, he just made a tackle, I got to go make 2. It's a lot less of that, as opposed to just trying to be the best core that we can be, because we know there's going to be a lot of playing time, and we want to be the best linebacker group in the nation, and we got a lot to prove, obviously, with a lot of new guys coming into play. But you know, we have a lot of high hopes, and we're competing just to be the best we can.
When you're at your best, what do you bring to the field?
I think I bring experience and leadership. You know, even though I didn't play as much as you know, Balin and Jamie did, I still learned a lot under them in 3 years playing with them. And you know, I feel like I can bring that to the field. And I've been waiting to go out there and show what I can do. So just a little bit new bit of energy, you know, a new face and person out there at linebacker with the defense. You know, I think I'm fast and athletic too. I think I can really do everything that Wes needs me to do. I just got to go out there and do it every day to the best I can.
The experience and obviously the on the field production is one thing, but with Scalzi, there was so much leadership there too, just being sort of a part of that defense for so many years. Is that a component? Do you feel like you or whoever fills in at that spot is bring as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a defensive thing too. You know, I think Jamie had a lot of the spotlight because he was not the sole leader, but you know, everyone really looked at him. And even though there's a lot of leaders in that defense, you know, he definitely had probably the loudest voice out there and everything. So I think the defense as a whole, you know, I think we don't need as much as one singular leader as we are a group, and just hungry as a group to go out there and be the best, you know, defense in the nation. I think everyone in their position, they all kind of lead their position with KJ and Brian and TD and Rook and everyone. You know, the whole D line, they lead each other, they push us, we push them. And as you know, it's not much as one person, which is good. You know, one person has to feel that pressure of going out there and being that big leader, as opposed to everyone just, you know, pushing each other and wanting the best for their position group.
What's the biggest thing that you learned from Scalzi, just watching him, talking to him?
Just the dedication it takes off the field to be good on the field. You know, his anticipation, everything. It doesn't just come natural. And you know, that's one thing I learned. If you look at Jamie, you know, he was in the right position all the time and could expect what was happening. And you know, just watching him, how hard he worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, game was Saturday. He was in here 12 o'clock the next day already watching film on, you know, the other team. When I was going there to watch film the last game, he has already watched it, you know. So just the dedication it takes to be, you know, to play at the level that he played at is definitely, you know, something I learned from him. And same with Balin, he was the same way. They taught us a lot about, you know, the importance of film studying, and if you're good in that part, you'll be great on the field too. So that was the biggest thing we learned.
I don't know if anybody's asked you about this, but the Phillies hat that you got.
Yeah.
Tell me how that went.
Yeah, that was. I went home. I guess it was a weekend in the summer we had off, and my buddy texted me if I wanted to go to the game. So you know, we went. He had some good seats right next to the home plate, but the dugout. I didn't have any of my Philly stuff though because I wasn't planning on it. It was all here. So I just went to the game. I bought a jersey, a hat, went down there. Bryce wasn't playing, so we were trying to get his attention like early in the game because he was sitting right in the dugout right next to us. He kind of gave us a head nod early, and we were like, that's pretty cool. And then like it was like later in the game, we were down 2-0, I think, or something. So we were kind of just sitting there like, And then my buddy was like, yo, I think someone knows you in the dugout because they were trying to get our attention. And I was like, I don't think anyone knows me in the Phillies. So I looked over, and my buddy Gavin, who invited me to the game, he was the closest one. He was like, hey, Bryce wants your hat. So I was like, okay. So I took it off, threw it to him, and I didn't think he was giving me anything in return. I was like, you can take it. Wow. It was like $25. I got it that day at the stadium. I didn't just get a new one. It's Bryce Harper. I'm not going to say no. And he threw back a hat to me. I was like, oh, that's cool. I looked, it was signed. I was like, yeah. So it turned out to be a pretty cool thing. It just was a random thing that happened. Kind of lucky, yeah.
He signed the hat you threw to him.
He gave me the hat that was on his head. Yeah, he took his hat off, signed it, and threw it to me.
Do you know how he knew you or recognized
No, I don't
you?
think he knew me. I just think he saw the hat, and he was like, I like the hat, and took it. No, he definitely doesn't know me, but it'd be pretty cool if he did. But no, I think he just liked the hat I got, and I would like it too. It's pretty good. That's why I got it that day.